We are going to multiply a fraction by another fraction. I hope you have done a number of examples with a whole number multiplied by a fraction. We are going to another stage now. We are not going to take a whole number this time around. We are taking a fraction and we are multiplying that fraction by another fraction. So here I have a problem. 2/3, I'm multiplying that by 2/3. So I have my 2/3 inserts here, fraction inserts 2/3. I want to take these 2/3 times. How am I going to take these 2/3 times? 2/3 times. That means I have to break each of these ones into thirds. I have to break this 1/3 into thirds. I have to break this into thirds. How do I do that? I have to exchange each of these thirds by ninths. I have my ninths here. So take 1/9, 2/9, 3/9. So I've exchanged this ninths. I've been able to break this into 3 equal pieces, ninths. So I'll do the same thing with this remaining third. 1/9, 2/9, 3/9. So again, I've broken this third into 3 equal pieces. That gives me ninths. So I can return these thirds to their frame. Now I can take each of these ninths 2/3 time. Everything together, what do I have? I have 6 ninths. I have 6 ninths. So I will take 2 of these ninths. I'll take 2 of these ninths. That way I've been able to take this 2/3 time, because we have, out of the 3, my numerator is telling me that I should take it 2 times. So I have 1 of these 9, 2 of these 9, so 2/3 time. I've also taken this 2/3 times, so I don't need this anymore, so I'll return this. So altogether, what do I have? 4 ninths, 1/9, 2/9, 3/9, 4/9. So my answer is 4/9. So you can go ahead and do more examples like this. Take a fraction, multiply that by another fraction. But let's look at our answers for a minute. We started with 2/3 and we are having our answer as 4/9. 2/3 and 4/9, which is more? 2/3 are more than 4/9. And when we multiply our whole number by a fraction, what did we get? Look at it here. When we multiplied 2 and we took that 2/3 time, what did we have? We have 1 and 1/3. Here again we see that our answer is less than what we started with, less than 2. And here again, look at it, when we multiplied one whole number by a fraction, what did we get? We had less than the number we started with. We started with 1, we multiplied that by a fraction, and now we are having another fraction. So that makes sense, doesn't it? When we are multiplying by a fraction, we just take that number, a part of it. Anytime we multiply by a fraction, we are taking just part of that number. And that is why we always end up with a smaller number than we started with. I have another example here. A fraction multiplied by a fraction, 3/5, I'm multiplying that by another fraction, 1/2. I'll get my 3/5 out. These are my fifths. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. My multiplier is telling me that I need to take each of these fifths 1/2 time. That means I have to break each of these fifths into 2. So what do? I can only do that if I exchange these fifths for tenths. So let's do that. Take 1/10, 2/10. So exchange this 1/5 for 2/10, and do the same thing with the other fifth. 1/5, 2/5. Change this for 2/10. I'll do the same thing here. Let me get this fifth. Exchange it for 2/10. 1/10, 2/10. So I've been able to break these fifths into tenths. So I'll return the fifths now. So how many tenths am I getting out of my 3/5? 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10. So I've exchanged my 3/5 into 6/10. I'll return my fifths. I've returned my fifths to their frame. Now I'll be able to take 1/2 of each of these. So I'll take 1 here. I'll take 1. So I'm taking 1/2 of this fifth. I'm taking 1/2 of this fifth, and I've also taken 1/2 of this fifth. So I'll return this tenth. Back to that one, I don't need this tenth. So what is my answer? I'm having 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. Again, we see that I started with 3/5. Remember the fifths, and now I'm ending with just 3/10. Look at the tenths. I'm ending with 3/10. So which is bigger? You can see that my answer is smaller than the number I started with, than the fraction I started with. I told you before why that so is because anytime we take a fraction, anytime we take a number by a fraction, you're actually taking part of that number. And that is why we end up having an answer less than the number we started with. So you can go ahead and do more examples like this. A whole number multiplied by a fraction, fraction multiplied by another fraction. So you are going to work with prepared cards. I'm going to give you, you are going to have prepared cards to work with. Examples like this, a whole number multiplied by a fraction, or a fraction multiplied by another fraction. Remember, I told you that anytime you are taking a fraction, you are taking, and anytime you are multiplying a number by a fraction, you are taking that number a part of a time. So you are always going to have your answer smaller than the number you started with. So you are going to have prepared slips that will enable you to do this kind of work with the material.